Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Devil's Own podcast. I am again joined by our chief football reporter, Asa. Evening, Asa. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Just back from the Grimsby game, so we'll get into that a bit later. And Jack making his podcast debut. Jack, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
We're good, thanks. We're good. Okay, so let's get into it. So, first of all, I want to thank our first podcast sponsor. So this week, or this episode, is sponsored by Mansfield Media. So some of you may know Grant. He's often around the club taking photos. His photography features in local publications, as well as the fans programme, The Devil's Diary. So a big thanks to him. He also allows us to use his photography, so that's very kind of him. Thank you. Perfect. So, first up, let's talk player of the month. So we ran a vote on our Facebook group and our Instagram page for March player of the month and March goal of the month. Tricky to pick the goals for you, Asa. We didn't provide a lot, did we, in March? But before we reveal the result, I thought we would see where everyone's heads were at here. So, Asa, who'd be your player of the month for March?
Goal month. For me, it was Helen Gordon. Player of the month for March.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. I would say Kellen Gordon was an impactful player last month. I thought he did the best on the pitch.
Fair enough. Clean sweep. And then goal of the month for March, Asa, what would your pick be on that one?
For goal of the month, I think again Kellen Gordon, because that sort of the late winner, sort of the whole celebration and what that meant was quite a lot. And I think it was the way he got to that ball just in time ahead of I think it's Hoylett, and the way it curled into the top corner and the scenes afterwards were amazing. So for me, it was that one.
You probably have a better view of that in the West Stand than we did in the East, because
Yeah.
it was that end of the ground. Jack, goal of the month for you for March?
As much as I loved Kellen Gordon's equaliser, I would have to go for Taylor Richards against Gillingham. I thought it was quite a good goal. Whips it past a lot of defenders, gets it in. Pivotal goal for that moment to win the game.
Oh no, I've got a tie-break situation. I agree with both your points. I've been quite frustrated this season that we've not taken more shots from outside the box, because you just never know what chaos it's going to create. So it was lovely to see that done. But I did love that Kellen Gordon goal, and Kellen has been incredible sort of since he's come back. I think player-wise, he's of the band that came back, he's been the guy that's kind of really rolled up his sleeves. I'm very disappointed he's got an injury currently. So I can reveal that whilst you disagree with everyone, Jack, most people agree. Kellen got 93% of the vote for player of the month. Sorry, for goal of the month, and he got 60% of the vote for player of the month. That was a bit tighter. So Scott Malone got 26% of the vote for player of the month. Chapman and Jay Williams both getting 6.5% of the vote each. So, I mean, look, Scott Malone, I think he's been incredible sort of since he came back as well. So, honourable mention for sure. But well done, Kellen. Done the double in the first Devil's Own Player and Goal of the Month vote. That'll be back at the end of April. Hopefully there'll be some players and some goals to get excited. Well, there's already been some goals to get excited about. I think at the moment Harry McCurdy would win Goal of the Month if we did it right now. It could be either of his two goals. But yeah, so that's good. The other thing I just want to let people know about, so those of you that follow our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, you'll see Asa gets out and about talking to the fans before the games. A lot of people are asking where they can find those once they've been recorded. So they are on our YouTube channel. We post them in our Facebook group and on our Instagram. You'll find everything you need if you go to our website. It's thedevilzone.uk. There's links there to all the socials. Feel free to join the Facebook group. It's a place to have discussion, different views, a bit of fun as well along the way. So, all welcome. Please feel free to join us on the socials. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into Newport. So, Asa, I know you travelled to Newport. Jack and I went for the television route and not the 6-hour coach journey to South Wales. So, first of all, how was your journey? Because we did do it to Swansea and we didn't get back till 3 a.m. in the morning. So, hopefully, you had a better journey than us.
Yeah, it was better than that. I think it was a pretty good journey, smooth journey. There wasn't much traffic. We set off at 9, got there about 1:15, 1:30, with an hour's break at our services, and then on the way back we set off about 5:15 and 5:30 around there, and got back at about 9:15. We took 4 coaches, which was really impressive, and shout out to GH coaches for setting that up, and what was a really good day out for the fans. Really well organised, and obviously picked up the 3 points, 2 goals, a clean sheet, and a good away end. So yeah, it was a really good day out.
I was going to say, from our perspective, I echo your sentiments. First of all, well done to GH Travel for getting 4 coaches on. Well done to the club and the players for helping to subsidise that. It looked incredible on the telly, right? The away end was great. I think I just text you a picture of it during the game. And it created a different atmosphere. Watching it on the telly, I don't know what it was like in the ground, but it felt like that it was a bit more 50-50 than perhaps a traditional sort of away game. Jack, thoughts on the match itself?
I thought the first half we did a good job defending, keeping all their chances away from goal, making blocks and all that. The second half had a great start to that one. McCurdy at the double in a wingspan of 2 minutes was able to hold on to that win to keep a clean sheet. I thought it was a very hard fought performance for an away day.
I agree. I think, looking at it from where we were sat, it was very much more of the same as the kind of Gillingham game. I will just remind you, Asa, you predicted 2-1 to Crawley, so you weren't far off that. I went 1-0 Crawley, so somewhere in the middle, we were both right. But I think, look, it was scrappy at times. It played as a League Two relegation battle. I don't think either side really controlled the game, and the first goal was kind of pivotal in that regard. The one thing, so obviously both McCurdy's goals went in the end. You were sat behind, which is always nice too. So you got to sort of celebrate with the fans, which was good. They just look like pretty sort of simple goals from home, and stuff we've maybe not done much of this season. Just getting a ball in the box.
Yeah, I think with that, I think the first goal, I think they were they were simple moves, but they were really effective in terms of the way they were executed. I think it was a brilliant ball over the top by Charlie Barker initially, and obviously Adiemo got on the end of that and played a good cross into the box where McCurdy was waiting and put it in. And I think if he missed it, I think Toby Adiemo would have put it away as well. I think they were both well worked goals. I think the second I think it was Lewis Richards drove forward, laid it off Harry Forster, and he sort of chipped at the back post. I think there's probably an element of bad defending from Newport, but we capitalised on that, and I think it was important that we got that second goal, sort of put some distance between ourselves and Newport. And I thought we saw out the game quite well. I don't think they really had any chances after that, except from that one-on-one, which Jacob Chapman made a really good shot save with. I think he closed down the angle really well. But as you said, the first half, I don't think there was much quality from either side. I think we probably edged it in the second half. But I think it's professional after we scored those 2 goals and we saw it out. And it was important 3 points at the end of the day, and that's what we went there and we got it, and that's all we care about.
Absolutely. So we had that. Jack, I know, watching it at home with you, obviously we were a little concerned at one stage. I mean, yes, we saw the best of Harry McCurdy scoring the goals. There was a very strong possibility McCurdy could have got sent off. We both felt it was one of those sort of 50-50 decisions that could go either way. Not only was it a terrible challenge, but the kind of descent stuff that followed, we weren't overly enamored of. He does do that. We see it quite a lot where we sit in the East Stand. He does love to have a chat with a linesman. Let's call it a chat. I think, if you're scoring the goals and you're doing the business, that's great. But ultimately, the position we're in at the moment, we need our best players on the pitch. We'll talk about that a bit more later after the Grimsby game. But how did it... I mean, certainly on telly, in real time, I did think, the way our season's gone with some decisions, that could have gone against us. Did it feel that way on the ground at all, Asa, or did it just seem like a fairly standard challenge? I mean, I've got to say, for context, in the first half, I felt their yellow card could have been a red card as well. I think their right back cleaned out Harry Forster, and that was a bit of a naughty challenge.
I think, I didn't, to be honest, from our position, it was sort of over the far side, so we didn't really get a great view of that McCurdy challenge. I don't really have much to say on it, to be fair. He might as well have got a red for it, but I think, as we said, I'm sure Christian Fuchs, I think I saw in his post match, he said McCurdy should have. But, as we said with things this season, they all even themselves out at the end of the day. And, I think it was quite a fiery contest. I thought at one stage there was going to be a red card for either side. I think there was 5 yellow cards in that first half. So, I didn't really see it that well, so I can't really comment on it. But luckily he didn't get sent off.
So that gave Colin 100% win rate out of 2 games, 2-2-0 victories, 2 more clean sheets for Jacob Chapman. Jack, how much confidence do you have now with Chapman in goal versus maybe the Harvey Davies who was here at the start of the season?
Look, I want nothing really negative. I feel, when he came in, it was like at the start of the season, it was like a very controversial choice when he made the clear errors, because my number one issue with him in goal was he just kept hesitating when an attack came towards him in the box. He just hesitated, and that's what led to most of our concedings. But now that we've brought in Jacob Chapman, I feel like he is more confident. He makes the right decisions when needed to. He doesn't make the hesitations needed. He just acts on instinct. And I think that's what, at this point in the season, when we're staying up and you need that kind of keeper, Jacob Chapman is someone you would want for those instincts.
Yeah, I think adding on to that, I think
Go on, carry on, Asa.
no, yeah, I just think adding on to that, I think obviously, it's a team game and stuff, and they all put their efforts in. But I think we do have to, in a way, single out Chapman, as I don't think we'll be where we are without him. I think he's pulled off some incredible saves to keep us in games, or at least sort of damage limitation, if you like. And I think he plays really quickly.
7 clean sheets since he came in. I'll do some working out for the next podcast how many points he's sort of potentially won us with those 7 clean sheets, because prior to him coming in, Harvey Davies had 1 clean sheet, Jojo had 1 clean sheet. So it's always going to be difficult to pick up points if you're not keeping clean sheets at times. Look, we've obviously not won all of those games, but I would, off the top of my head, I reckon probably at least 10 points he's won us by keeping clean sheets, whether, we've got a point out of a 0-0, or, 6 points in the last 2 weeks against Gillingham, and then against Newport with 2 shutouts. So that's 6 points there. So it might even be more, but I echo what Jack says. I think he's more commanding. He comes out, he doesn't always get it right, but he's a hell of a shot stopper as well. I mean, we'll talk about Grimsby in a bit, but there was some good saves in that game. So I think he's been a key signing, as much as the guys we brought in over the January transfer window, 13 of them, a lot of them familiar faces to us Crawley fans. He was a bit of a kind of left field one, not someone I was particularly familiar with. I personally was clambering for a Corey Adai return. Didn't quite come to fruition, but Chapman's been fantastic, and I know Huddersfield fans rate him very highly, and I think we should be very fortunate that we've got him in for the back end of this season. Just a touch as well on the Newport game. Obviously, second half, Jay Williams came out in full battle mode, wearing, I think, every bit of bandage from the physio kit that we had available. It was a good look.
The club might have a shortage now.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's hope no one else needs a bandage. That's all I'm going to say. So, Grimsby today. So we are recording this at 8 o'clock on Easter Monday night. The 3 of us were at the Grimsby game today. First off, good attendance for a game that was on TV. And it's Easter Monday. I think there was just over 4,000 there. So that was good. I felt there was a real positive atmosphere around the ground today, certainly in the fan zone, and around the bar. It was a shame we couldn't get the result. I mean, look, I felt the Grimsby game would be very difficult. Obviously, they are chasing the kind of playoffs. Asa predicted a 1-0 win to Crawley in this one. I went 0-0, so we were both way off the pace there. Let's go. Jack, what did you think of the first half?
I thought Initially, in the first 10 minutes, I thought it was mainly us creating chances, making crucial shots, like, for example, Scott Malone taking a massive volley shot from yards away. It was it didn't hit the post or anything, but I thought for a minute it would be close to getting a shot on target. But then I felt after that it then just kind of slowly digressed down to Grimsby's way a little bit, and it was annoying to then just see goals from Grimsby, and then it was just us being shut off doing pass after pass and making little mistakes that gave Grimsby those counter-attacking options for those goals and shots.
Yeah. Asa, your thoughts on the first half?
That first half, I thought quite a lively start. I think a lot of both teams sort of got shots away. I think we didn't use the ball as well as we could have when we had it. Obviously, we're coming up against a side who are chasing the playoffs. I think you look at the previous two games, we played teams who are sort of in and around where we are, and haven't been in great form. This was our first sort of real test, and I think we've praised Adiemo a lot, and I thought he's done really well in the previous two games. And obviously, we come up against a test of a side who have really real quality. I thought they got around the sides of us too easily at times. I thought they create the overlap really well. But yeah, I thought we lacked that quality in the first half. I thought we didn't quite use the ball as well as we could have when we had it. We didn't really offer a lot going forward. But yeah, I think first half, it wasn't great from us really.
No, and look, it's rare. It's rare you watch a game of football and everybody's kind of got the same opinion. And I made some sort of notes in my mind while I was watching it, and I think, Jack, your point that the opening 10 minutes, it felt like a Colin Kazim Richards side, right? We were going forward. I don't mind Malone having a dig from 40 yards, right? And there was a couple of occasions. I'm trying to think who it was. I think it might have been Taylor Richards cut inside and got a shot off, and keeper spilled it. In that opening 10 minutes, I thought their keeper looked a little suspect, and I thought, right, let's just keep firing balls at him. But then Grimsby seemed to work the system out. So Kabir was getting in behind Adiemo. Adiemo was maybe sitting a little too high, whereas down the other side, Richards and Forster were maybe too close together. It was a bit like having two left backs at times, but then we had no right back at all. So that was problematic. What did you make of the substitution in the first half? I mean, it's rare. A rarer manager goes and makes a change in the first half that's not injury induced. I'll go first. I thought Taylor Richards was affecting the game. I thought it was a strange one to take him off because he was affecting the game. He maybe wasn't offering the protection to Adiemo at right back that Forster was offering on the other side. But then it seemed strange to me to take Richards off, move McCurdy wide, because McCurdy was causing problems up front, and I don't think McCurdy was going to offer that much more protection. What did you make of it, Asa?
I think it was a strange one to see him come off within that first half. Bearing in mind it didn't look like he had an injury. I thought we didn't offer loads going forward, but if you want someone on the pitch who can just pull out a moment of brilliance, then you want him on there because he has that in his repertoire. So yeah, it was a strange one. I mean, it was nice seeing Louis Watson back on the pitch again because I do rate him a lot. But yeah, I mean it was a weird one, but he's not afraid to use his whole bench. I think in all the matches he's pretty much used everyone on the bench. So yeah, bit of a weird one, but
And second half, we came out perhaps a little too fired up. Certainly there was two guys behind me that saw the Jay Williams sending off coming about 3 minutes before it happened. There was a bit of a tackle and an incident in the kind of Grimsby half of the pitch. And, we've seen it a few times as Crawley fans. Jay then goes on a bit of a rampage and hunts down a player. And I haven't seen it back yet. I haven't watched it back yet, but literally as FOTMob pops up on my phone with the official highlights of Crawley Grimsby, I've not seen it back yet. My understanding is he kicked the ball at the player.
yeah.
So I guess they're going to count that as violent conduct. So I'm guessing that's now Jay missing for 3 games. It's really hard to be frustrated with someone that leaves it all on the pitch for the club when he does play. I'm a massive fan, but we're in a real pickle at the moment, and you need your captain on the pitch, not somewhere else. So frustrating from my perspective. Jack, what's your thoughts?
I like you. I didn't really see much of the challenge. I just thought it was a tackle that was just going to give him a booking, as Jay Williams usually does with his tackles. He usually does end up getting a booking. I didn't see the incident, so when I heard all the opposing fans screaming off, and I saw a red card, I just questioned what had happened at the moment after not seeing it. So it was a little bit weird just seeing a red card out of nowhere. I'll have to also watch the highlights back. But if we are in a situation like we are at this moment in time where staying up and the points we need to stay up are crucial, we can't have a crucial role of a captain like Jay Williams getting sent off in a pivotal moment of the season where we have so many games left to stick up on this league and just survive.
So, Asa, have you seen it back?
I haven't actually seen it back yet either. I didn't really see it in real time either. From what I've heard from Grimsby manager, the Grimsby manager said that Jay Williams had fired the ball at the Grimsby player's face from about 10 yards out, and he said if that was my player, I'd be very disappointed in them. So obviously, it's going to be 3 games. That means he won't be back for the Salford match until the Salford match. He's a big player, quite instrumental in our team. But I'm sure he'll be vocal from the sidelines, which Kazim Richards alluded to in his post-match interview. But yeah, again, I didn't really see it, so I can't make too much of a comment on it.
No, that's fine.
But obviously, a big fan.
The only reason I asked is I wondered if, as a club, we might appeal it. But we'll wait and see it back. So, obviously, what then transpired was a 2-0 defeat. I mean, look, where credit's due. The first Grimsby finish I thought was a good finish. It was a well worked goal, and it was a great finish by Kabir. The second one, I went to get a drink, some chips, so I didn't see it yet. Jack, you were there. Go on.
Oh, it was a well worked goal. It was kind of in a crowded moment in the box where Chapman gets his hand on it, and instead of having maintained, he just kind of hits it outside of the box where Rodgers is waiting, slaps it, goes straight into the top left corner. Done deal. That just sealed a first half kind of statement on us.
Chapman had a great game, which is a strange thing to say when you lose 2-0. He made a couple of really good dump
Yeah.
saves, and without him,
Mm.
it could have been very difficult. There was some hairy moments throughout the day. Like I say, there was definitely a couple of guys sat behind me. I was getting a full Sky Sports Soccer rundown. One moment Harrogate were out the relegation zone, then they were back in it, and it was all changing. I mean, look, the way the day panned out, we're still 20th. We're on 37 points. We are still 4 clear of the relegation zone, but Barrow do have a game in hand. So in effect, we're 3 clear of Newport. I mean, I still think we need another 5 or 6 points. Realistically, I would say 42, 43 is probably the number we need to get to, and I think we can get them. I definitely think we're in a good position. I mean, look, I think I said last week when we recorded that it was Harrogate +1, and Harrogate are now suddenly not looking quite so dead and buried. I'll have to have a look and see if they did actually sack their manager, because when they came to us, they had a big banner that said "In Gaffer We Trust," and then at half time they unfurled one that said "Sack him." So that was brilliant. So yeah, I mean, look, disappointing, but we roll on. I think Mr. Kazim Richards is adapting well. I saw him having his photo taken with some stewards and some fans, and I've noticed when he comes on the pitch to do his little clap, he still does his little hoppy skippy thing that he would have done if he was coming on as a player before coming on the pitch. I kind of like all that. So I think he's really endearing himself to the fans. I think he's turned the tide a little bit. There's a lot more positivity around it. We touched on before, sort of, I think Scott, he's not universally loved by the Crawley fan base, but he will go down in folklore as the guy that did what he did, right? But we're now firmly in there. I mean, the only thing I was intrigued to see today was when we went 1-0 down, was how would we react to that? Because obviously we hadn't conceded a goal under Colin yet. And it did feel a bit like when it stopped going our way, we didn't have the ideas necessarily. It felt at times we slipped back into old ways of playing, which is kind of understandable. And there were periods in the game where it felt like it did under Scott. Do you think that's fair, Ace, or am I being too harsh?
No, I think I do agree with you. I think they sort of got that upper hand, if you like, after we went 1-0 down. We sort of, we haven't seen, obviously, as you said, it was the first goal we conceded under Colin, and it'd be interesting to see how we reacted to that. I do feel like we sort of caved in a little bit, and we went sort of so defensive that it sort of backfired a little bit, and then they started to get the upper hand. I think again it's another learning curve. I thought we did show character sort of in that second half, but obviously again a little bit too late for that. I thought we did sort of capitulate a little bit, but then we came back out our shell again.
Yeah, look, that was fair. I think, like I say, we went a goal down. We just didn't really seem to know how to react to that, and maybe what they wanted us to do from a kind of coaching perspective. And then the flip side was, I think, Jack, from 75 minutes on, we were probably the better side. 10 chasing the game.
Yeah, after we made with 10 chasing the game, we made the crucial substitutions of Louis Copley, who is, since he's coming on loan, I would say has shown his levels and shows his skills on a pitch inside and out. Another one I'm
It's
quite
never flashes
happy
of
with
quality,
is
isn't it?
Johnny Russell. Yeah, it's like Johnny Russell as well. He makes those runs. He makes powerful rugby type throw-ins from a mile away. Um, I just
He
think
runs like a
this is a
rugby
good
player
squad.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
good.
It's a squad that is like it can get there, but it's realistically not a marathon, it's a race, and it is a good race because what we get out of these players week in, week out are the skills and the signs of them being brilliant players working in a team. It's just the minute we concede, it's then like, how are we going to react? How are these players going to react? And it shows sometimes it's a bit like 50-50 where they'll have a shut off, or some of them are like, come on, let's go forward, let's go do this.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, really, because it's all right having that technical ability, but it's also very much, it is about what's your mentality like, because you are going to go down in games and it isn't going to go your way. And, I mean, you've got to have a dressing room. I remember Scott saying a lot of it, that we haven't got enough leaders in the team. And, maybe that is the case. But I think we, as I said, we sort of did cave in a little bit, but then we came back out of our shells in that when we went down to 10 men.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, let's just see. We still got 4 games left, and we're
Mm-hmm.
going to hit some more rocky patches. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wanna focus on the positive, but I think we have to be realist too, right? We have to talk about the whole thing. And the only other, not negative point, I thought Toby Adeyemo had a difficult afternoon today. I think he just struggled to hold the ball up, and bring others in to play, which has been his real strength, I think, since coming in. I mean, look, we're obviously short on options up front now. Orsey's out, but and I've still got great faith in him. We just didn't see the same player today that we saw against Gillingham and we saw against Newport. I can't recall
No.
him flicking the ball on once for kind of McCurdy to run in behind.
Well, it's kind of like what you said earlier, where you were talking about how Grimsby figured out what we did on the pitch, and they must have known like what they've seen with Toby Adeyemo, what to do to shut him down.
Yeah, quite possibly. Right, let's move on and focus on the next game. So we are away at Bristol Rovers next Saturday, 12:30 game. I believe it's on TV. Me and Jack are not making the trip to Bristol, so we will be
Hello? Oh
armchair
no.
fans on that one. Asa, I know you're going because I was with you when you got your ticket earlier on. I'm just trying to find the first game to see how we did against Bristol Rovers, because as good as my memory, we beat
I
Bristol Rovers
believe we
4-0
beat them
last Broadford, didn't we,
4-0.
October?
Yeah, we were 4-0. Yeah,
Yes, we
it's
did.
when they went back in
What a game!
November, I believe. Yeah.
Just in October. Scott
Yeah,
Malone, player of
October.
the match, an own goal in the 45 plus 9 minutes, and then we came out in the second half. Harry Forster, I vaguely remember that, off the edge of the box,
Well,
I think. And then
yeah,
Scott
don't
Malone
don't forget as
moved
what
out.
don't forget as well. Yeah, don't forget as well. It was the game where their left back got sent off immediately, and that's when we got into the
That's right.
game. And I also remember
That's
that. I
right.
also remember that game painfully because that was the match I witnessed Ryan Loft miss a penalty.
Oh
Ah,
God.
Got
okay.
saved. Tried to do a little tap in, and he got saved.
Okay. So let's have a look at the team that started that day, because I'm guessing it's going to look pretty
Yeah.
different this time round. So Our starting
Wallacott was
11
in
was
goal.
Wallacott in goal. Yeah, Barker, Conroy, Flynn.
Mm.
And then in the midfield,
Hmm.
we had Kyle Scott, Badrami, Anderson, and Malone. It looks on paper like Kyle Scott was the right wing back and Scott Malone was the left wing back. And then we had Watson and Holohan behind Loft. And then it looks like we brought on Harry Forster, Louis Flower, Reece Brown, who seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. Kabi Shaminga, who's obviously now banging them in for Barnet, and Kaheem Dixon, who, you know, unfortunately didn't set the world alight for us. So it doesn't look incredibly different, because you would imagine of that team, maybe Barker, Malone, Anderson start, potentially Watson. So there's going to be.
I do want to have a. Yeah. In my opinion, if for that game, Max Anderson has just recently come back from injury. He played against Newport. He played today. It did show signs when he played today of him still recovering from that injury after being back on the pitch, because it was quite not the Max Anderson who banged goals for fun against Harrogate at the start of the year. It was a different atmosphere. I know Anderson can rebuild himself, but in a game where maybe potentially you want to show other potential rotations in the squad, I would personally start Louis Watson just to see what he could do with more of a 90 minutes before you bring on someone experienced like Max Anderson.
Fair enough. So Bristol Rovers are 15th in the league. They're 5 places above us, but 15 points above us.
And 5 straight wins, I believe. Is it 5 straight wins?
No.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
It is. After losing to Bromley, they beat Shrewsbury 1-0, Gillingham 2-1. Excuse me, Accrington 2-0, Fleetwood 1-0, and then they came back to beat Harrogate today, didn't they? Because they were 2-0
Well,
Harrogate.
maybe, who knows? Maybe there's a maybe there's a Bristol Rovers fan. It's like that United guy, and he's been able to cut his hair today.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Got their 5 wins in a row.
Lisa? What are you expecting?
Look, I think, obviously their form has been really good of late. I think it's going to be a tough match, as they all are. They've had a big transformation under Steve Evans. I think it's taken a while to get going, but they've really taken off recently, and they look a good side. It's gonna. I mean, I don't really know what to expect, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think score
it's
prediction.
a tough game, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, my score prediction is going to be 1-1. Better jot that down, Bradley.
I've done it. It's in Reading, case that is committed as far as it goes. Jack, what's your prediction on it?
Look, well, first of all, take nothing off Bristol Rovers since the manager of change has happened. They've gone under, like I said, a complete transformation. They have started coming off from quite literally their ashes and have reborn themselves into these goal-scoring winning machines. And as our current stats, they have won 6, we have won 6, and we've drawn 4. So whatever happens here, we'll go to the tally. I do think it'll be a tough game. Obviously, after today, they just have to make sure if we concede first, if we do, just to keep the mentality on and just push for goals. I think it'll be quite a close game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Crawley. Bear at the edge of the game to score the winner.
Okay,
I hope so.
I'd forgotten about the Steve Evans element. I forgot he'd gone in there. It's not the
I believe he's former Crawley, isn't he? Former Crawley manager.
He was the manager that got us into the Football League for the first time, for those of you that are too young to remember that far back, with backing from Bruce Winfield.
He's gone to many good teams there.
He's been around the block, Steve Evans.
Yeah, His last job before Bristol Rovers was at Rotherham when we played in League One. I'm guessing he might have got sacked if we'd beaten them.
I think he might have got sacked after we beat them. From memory, I don't know. I'd have to look at that.
Let's have a look.
I'm gonna go 0-0. I think we got to just try and keep it tight.
Take it safe.
Rely on the Chapman to do his thing.
Chapman.
Get a point out of this. Hopefully beat Shrewsbury. Pick up another point along the way. That's the kind of 5 that we need. Anything above that, hopefully, we can grab 2. So go on. What you got?
Looking at the stats, he was actually sacked after we beat him 4-0 away from home, where Kamari Doyle scored twice, Gavin Holohan scored, and Kamara. Because then straight after they got their new manager and immediately won a game against Northampton. So, is this his revenge time?
I like to chuck in a bit of a fun one that no one sees coming at the end of these pods.
All right.
I am gonna reuse the fun one that we had today on our fan interviews because I think it's quite a good one. It's a bit tongue in cheek, and I think Harry McCurdy would take it in the way it's intended as a bit of fun. So, Asa, you've asked this several times today. Do you think Harry McCurdy should pull his socks up and tuck his shirt in?
Well, I think we had a sort of general consensus. Really, was he's sort of that. He's quite a unique player in terms of the way he goes about things. That's sort of his style. A lot of people say, if that's what he feels comfortable playing in and playing like that, by all means, if he's gonna play like that and score goals, then no complaints. But I think maybe he does need to tone it down a little bit. In terms of he's definitely one to keep piping off in like the referee's ear or the linesman's ear, and I think I'm pretty sure someone said he got told to sort of keep it down by one of the coaching staff at Newport away. But yeah, I think if he's going to keep scoring, then I don't care.
Okay, Jack, what's your thoughts on Harry McCurdy? Should he pull his socks up and tuck his shirt in? Which is something, as a parent, I
look now. Now Harry McCurdy with an untucked shirt. It kind of feels like a video game character or like some sort of superpower, like your Final Form or something. Harry McCurdy with an untucked shirt has become our top goal scorer of 8 goals. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like a superpower. He just bangs them in with an untucked shirt. So if he just keeps that shirt untucked and just scores more goals, that'd do a world of favour for Harry McCurdy. And I always love seeing him with an untucked shirt.
But when he scores 1, he always scores 2.
Yeah.
That's what when he scored that first one, I was like, I know he's going to get another one. Not that I thought he was going to get it in 2 minutes, but I knew he was going to get another one.
He's got a superpower, I told you.
Yeah, I mean, look, my view on it is this: I found it amusing from the start of the season, and like I say, I can say this: I'm sure he would take it as it's intended, as a bit of fun. He looks like he's just walked in off the street, right? And I kind of love the fact that he sort of epitomises what Crawley and how Crawley's seen by the outside world. I feel like he is the kind of poster child for that. And listen, I'm in agreement. If it works for you, don't change, right? And keep doing what you're doing and score the goals that keep us up. To be honest, it's no one's business whether he tucks his shirt in or pulls his socks up. But I just thought it was a fun piece to take on a Wednesday, and hopefully make some people smile. And like I say, I think Harry would take it the right way.
It's always good to end on a positive note.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
bit of a smile. So thanks, guys, for joining me. Josh, safe travels to Bristol Rovers, and we shall
Thank you.
hopefully discuss again after that another 3 points. Good luck to the boys
Play.
as well as we go up against Bristol Rovers. Thanks for joining me, guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.